Hello, Anonymous Diaries family. Welcome back to another heart-to-heart session where hidden stories finally find a voice. My name is Evelyn, and I remain your host. Tonight's story is one that might shock you because it flips the script we're used to hearing. We often talk about abuse in marriages, but what happens when the tables are turned? What happens when a man, yes, a husband, a father, a provider, suffers in silence behind closed doors? This story comes from a married man who has carried scars no one sees and a pain society often refuses to acknowledge. Please, as you listen, try to keep an open mind because this is not just his story, it's a reality many men live with but cannot talk about. A quick disclaimer. This story is inspired by a real anonymous post shared online. We have fictionalized the details, including the name, to create a fuller narrative and protect the identity of the individual involved. Now, let's hear directly from him.
Before I begin, let me just say this. I'm not sharing this to bash my wife or to look for pity. No, I'm sharing because I need to breathe, because I'm tired of pretending. Because sometimes, even as a man, you reach a breaking point and nobody is listening. A quick plea, please, kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel so YouTube can recommend it to other men who might be going through something similar. Let them know they are not alone. Thank you. Now, here's my story. On the outside, I look like the man people expect me to be. A husband, a father, a provider. But inside, I carry bruises, both visible and invisible, that nobody would ever believe. I am a married man with 3 children. From the very beginning, my wife and I started off well. I remember when we first got married, I told myself that I was going to be the kind of man who put his family first no matter what. And I kept that promise. God has blessed me in my own way, not with mansions or private jets, not the kind of blessings you see splashed on Instagram, but with a steady job, peace of mind, and the ability to feed my family. I pay my rent without stress. I drive the car I can afford. I take care of my children, and above all, I carry my responsibilities as a man with pride. From the start of our marriage, I made it my duty to provide everything. My wife does not buy even a pinch of salt. She doesn't need to. Growing up, I always dreamed of being a husband who never lets his family lack. And I lived by that. I don't cheat, I don't womanize, I don't stay out late. I close from work by 4 p.m. and by 5:30 I'm always back home. I believe in family time. I believe in being present. I cook, I clean, I wash clothes, even my wife's underwear without shame. Because to me there's no such thing as a woman's job or a man's job. Family is teamwork, and I was determined to lead by example. But behind all of this, I carry a pain I can hardly put into words. Because whenever there's an issue, my wife does something no one would ever expect. She beats me. Yes, you heard me right. I am a grown man, but I live in fear of the woman I married. It started small. A slap during an argument, pushing me when she was angry, tearing my shirts when she felt disrespected. At first, I thought it was just temper, maybe stress, maybe mood swings. I kept excusing it. But over time, it grew darker, more violent, more life-threatening. There was a day she raised a pestle at me. If not for God, I would not be alive today. I dodged at the last second, and the pestle smashed into the wall behind me. Another time, she held a knife to my throat. She choked me. She scratched me until I bled. Imagine living like that as a man, knowing that if you dare to defend yourself, society will condemn you instantly. If I raise my hand, I become a monster. But when she raises hers, nobody talks. I have never raised my hand against her once, not because I don't feel anger, but because it is not in my nature to hit a woman. And truthfully, I know how society works. If I ever did, nobody would listen to my side. No one would care about the years of abuse I endured. They would simply label me as the abuser. And my children would grow up thinking their father is a violent man. So I swallowed it again and again. Until recently, when I realized I could no longer stay silent. The breaking point came when I started to fear for my children. I would see the way she lashed out, sometimes not caring that they were in the room. I asked myself, what if one day she snaps and turns on them? That was when I knew I had to act. I sent her back to our parents' house. I took my children with me because their safety mattered more than anything. Since then, she has been begging, crying, posting online, writing everywhere that I stole her children from her. But those who know the truth, those close to us, have confronted her. They've told her to her face, Madame, you are the one at fault. You pushed your husband to this point. And yet, even as I write this, I feel torn inside. Because the truth is, I loved this woman. I loved her enough to sacrifice everything. I loved her enough to work tirelessly so she would never lack. I loved her enough to wash her clothes, her underwear, her dishes, her everything, just to show her that she was cherished. But in return, I received blows, insults, scars I cannot show anyone, wounds that no one wants to believe exist. This is not a story about me wanting another woman. There has never been another woman. In fact, her behavior has killed any desire I could ever have for anyone else. This is not about lust. This is not about cheating. This is about pain. Pain that society expects me to carry quietly because I am a man. This is me saying, men too are human. Men too cry. Men too are victims. Not every abusive relationship has a man as the abuser. Sometimes it's the other way around. And we need to stop pretending like it doesn't happen just because we're too proud to admit it. I'm not saying all women are like this. I know there are incredible, kind, loving women out there. But I'm saying that men like me exist. Men who are trying, men who give their best, men who are being torn down quietly and have no one to talk to. How long will men be told to endure, to be strong, to just take it, while we suffer in silence? Who listens to men when they say, I am not okay? Who protects us when our homes become war zones? I don't know what the future holds for my marriage. I'm still processing the damage. I don't know if healing is possible or if separation is the final answer. But one thing I know is this: I refuse to die in silence. If you're a man listening to this and you're going through the same thing, speak up. You're not weak. You are not less of a man. You deserve peace too. And if you're a woman listening to this, please remember, abuse is not gender. It's about power, pain, and brokenness. Pray for your marriage, yes, fight for it, but never stay in a place where you are constantly being destroyed. I'm still learning to breathe again, but for now, this is my truth.
Whoa, guys. This is definitely one of the hardest stories we've ever shared. We often speak about abuse in marriages, but we rarely talk about when the victim is the man. Tonight, a man opened up about the silent pain he's carried in a world that often mocks male vulnerability. Abuse is abuse, no matter who it's coming from. Let's remember that both men and women deserve love, safety, and peace in marriage. This is a husband who has given his all, love, provision, sacrifice, only to receive violence and pain in return. What do you think? What should he do? Should he forgive and take her back? Or has the damage already gone too deep? How do we as a society begin to acknowledge that men, too, can be victims of abuse? I want you to share your thoughts in the comments below, but please, let's keep our responses kind, respectful, and thoughtful. This man has already carried enough shame and silence. Let us not add to his burden. And remember, if you have a story of your own to share, you can send it to the email in the description. Don't forget to include your country. Your story matters, and you are never alone. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and never forget that your voice deserves to be heard.